Hi friends. So I've been reading from the book of Hebrews and I have been challenged and blessed, and I wanted to share it with you all. Hebrews chapter 11. The Bible says in verse 17, by faith Abraham, when he was tested, offered up Isaac, and he who had received the promises offered up his only begotten son. Verse 19 says, concluding that God was able to raise him up, even from the dead, from which he also received him in a figurative sense. The Bible says Abraham, who had received the promises that his children would be like the stars in the air and the sand on the seashore. He had received those promises. He still offered up his only begotten son, because he concluded in his heart that the one who gave him that promise, gave him Isaac, is able to bring him back from the dead. Now, what Abraham did was that he was able to put a line between the giver and the gift. He understood the difference between those two. Are you a doer of the word? What are you holding on to? The giver or the gift? Sometimes we hold so tightly to the things of this world that we miss the point of the giver. He said, by faith, Abraham offered up. Sometimes the enemy is after our faith, and we think he's after our money. We think he's after our children. We think he's after our property. He doesn't care. He wants us to get to the point where we're like, God, are you real? Where we start to wonder if God is there because he has taken away things from us. But when we choose in our hearts that we know who the giver is, regardless of what gifts come or not, we know who the giver is. We know the one who has made those promises to us. When we come to that place, when we catch a revelation of who the giver is, the gifts begin to be nothing. We start to hold loosely to those things. We stop being anxious about things and start to concern ourselves with what the giver wants us to do and where he wants us to go and what he wants us to effect in this life. Are you a doer of the word? Oh, hearer only. You do not do to become. You do because of who you are. I challenge you this day. Make a difference. The giver or the gift. See you next time, friends.